Hello again. I'm going to do another video. This one's not going to be about monoids or monodic theory as I've been calling it. Rather, it's going to talk a little bit about uh, autism spectrum disorder and how it's affected me in my life without going into too many details. Maybe just kind of a general overview. But I'll use a sort of a kind of a mental model analogous to reality that would probably help if someone was interested in understanding a little bit more about it with me. And essentially, it's if you take a scale, and it's typically left, right. You weigh one side, you balance it out with the other, kind of thing. But now take that idea of a scale and give it many, many, many different arms in the various directions. It doesn't matter. The whole idea is somehow all these arms, when adequate weight is applied to them, balances out, creates an equilibrium. And that's kind of where I'm at with my mind in autism. So each arm is some sort of facet, feature of my life, whether it's how I handle emotions, how I handle real life things, bills, work, school, if that happens, family, different things. My creative side, the side of me that likes to code, the side of me that likes to write. The thinker, so on and so forth. You get the idea. And then each arm has a weight placed on it, and something from reality, a problem, an emotion, an idea, a thought, a conversation, anything. It could be a weight on these arms. And as I get into different environments, the arms, there may be more or less to try to balance it out for me. But eventually, all these different weights placed on all these different arms, eventually I'm trying to reach an equilibrium, which is darn near impossible in reality. But you still try. It's a kind of a control thing. You're trying to control your environment, trying to control how you can interact in that environment. As I mentioned in previous videos, I was diagnosed ASD Level 1, formerly called Asperger's. I show a good part of the characteristics of that. Maybe my what I become obsessed over, hyper obsessed over, is a little bit different than a typical stereotype, I guess, of what Asperger's is. But definitely have the characteristics of being on the spectrum. And my life has been kind of driven by that. From when I was young to, well, now that I'm ish. I didn't understand anything when I was young on how to blend, fit in. I always did not fit in. Found myself hanging out with a lot of the other kids that didn't fit in too. Many of them became friends. Some acquaintances. Some I don't even talk to anymore. And I kind of was reading a little bit up on it, on the struggles many autistic people face when it comes to finances and health. And not to go too much more into detail on that, but yeah, it's definitely a real struggle. Having worked with adults with disabilities, some of them on the spectrum, some of them not, I've seen the struggles that many of them have faced, which is day-to-day living, whether it is their health or their finances. I've seen it with my own eyes and experienced it to myself to a certain degree. And sure enough, it's a challenge. It's hard. You kind of live in poverty in many of the cases that I experienced, including my own. You kind of just don't know how to get yourself out of it. Maybe if we bring it back to the scale, maybe there's an arm I'm missing or an arm that's there that's overweighing things. I don't know. I haven't really quite figured out. Definitely I'm going to spend more time trying to understand it. And in the meantime, trying to better my situation. Like millions of other people out there, billions of other people. Everyone wants to have a better situation for the most part. You would think anyways. I guess mental health can prevent that for some people. I'm not one of them. I would definitely like to have a better life. I guess I just don't know how. I'm learning. So about old dogs and new tricks. But I felt like I needed to do this video to express how I feel about my disability. I'm not ashamed of it by any means. It is who I am. I definitely support anyone that has mental health stuff going on, whether it's developmental or acute trauma-oriented stuff. There's always help out there too. There's lots of support. You just gotta look. You gotta try to find it. And mostly looking inside yourself, because that's where the strength truly is. People can help, but you gotta help yourself more. You gotta be the 80% to their 20%. On pulling yourself up by your bootstraps and persevering and getting through it. I'll probably talk more about ASD and other things later on. Remember, I'm not an expert in this field by any means, and I've put that caveat many times on my videos. So previous, just life experience. So thank you for your time, and hopefully this video is helpful for people out there that are struggling with similar issues, or not. Maybe it's just a neurotypical person tuning in, curious. Cool either way. All right, thank you.